With the uncertainty of Jadeveon Clowney's situation, and if he will end up returning for a second season, the Browns need to add bodies to the defensive end room. Outside of Myles Garrett, the only guys on the roster are Chase Winovich and Curtis Weaver, which is a little uninspiring. This year's draft, luckily for the Browns, is filled with edge rushers in the mid to late rounds who could develop into stars in the NFL. In this video, I want to take a deeper look at 3 of my favorite edge rusher sleepers in this class as the Browns continue their search for the long-term option to pair with Myles Garrett. First up, we have Cameron Thomas out of San Diego State, who honestly might be one of my favorite players in this entire draft class. At SDSU, he played all over the defensive line. He lined up as a 5-tech, 3-tech, you name it, and he was extremely productive. In fact, he was probably the most productive edge rusher in all of college football in 2021. He recorded 73 pressures, which was highest in the FBS. His pass rush win rate was higher than Aidan Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeaux, and George Karlaftis, and his 20.5 tackles for loss ranked 3rd among all FBS players. Thomas doesn't have out-of-this-world testing numbers. He has below-average length and a below-average 40-yard dash time. But among edge rushers, he has the 3rd fastest 3-cone, which is an agility drill, only behind Aidan Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeaux. And his agility shows up on tape. I mean, the way Thomas moves at almost 270 pounds is special. On this play, San Diego's defense lines up in an Oki front. An Oki front can be identified as having a 0 technique lined up directly over the center, as well as 2 5 techniques lined up directly over the tackles, where Thomas is lined up. The Aztecs call a 5-man pressure, which gives each defender a one-on-one matchup with the offensive lineman. Thomas displays incredible agility and quickness, using his arm-over move to beat the guard off the snap and force the quarterback to throw a dangerous pass. Thomas does have finesse to his game, as we just broke down, but don't let that fool you. He is a relentless pass rusher with a wrecking ball play style. He attacks offensive linemen with violent hand usage, and he'll fight through double teams. He has a variety of pass rush moves to punish blocking techniques. I mean, no one could get their hands on Thomas in college just because of how active and powerful he is. And those same traits carry over to the run game. The Aztecs are again in their Oki front with a defensive tackle lined up over the center and 2 defensive ends lined up over the tackles. The run is designed to go through the opposite B gap, which is, needless to say, pretty far away from Thomas's pre-snap alignment. When the ball is snapped, the right tackle jumps inside to try to cut off Thomas's inside shoulder to seal him off from the run. Thomas, knowing he can't let the tackle get his hands on his chest plate, protects his chest by putting his outside shoulder into the tackle's chest plates, gets skinny, and drives through the tackle with his body weight, shooting across the defensive line to make the stop. Thomas's combination of agility, size, and his natural feel for exploiting blockers' leverage is truly unique, especially in this draft class. His dynamic skill set allows you to plug him anywhere on the defensive line. You can line him up inside and he can beat slower guards with his lateral quickness. You can put him on the edge and he'll use his strength and bigger frame at 6'4", 275 to beat tackles. He's only 22 years old and he's only going to get better with continued development. Consensus has him as a 3rd-round prospect, but he's going to go higher than that, and if the Browns took him with the 44th pick, I would be very excited. The next guy that I want to talk about is Ohio State's Tyreke Smith. Now, Smith is a pretty different player than Thomas and is less of a guaranteed prospect, but Smith's athleticism makes him a very intriguing prospect who has a lot of upside. He's in that Yannick Ngakoue, Harold Landry mold who wins by using speed off the edge. But every year, there are tons of raw athletic edge rushers who don't find success at the next level. So what makes a guy like Tyreke Smith different? Well, Smith is inexperienced. He's only 22, but I was really encouraged by his development, snap to snap, week to week, where you could see him become a smarter, more effective rusher as he just got more experience. Smith's first game of the season against Minnesota was rough, to say the least. He got banged around by right tackle Daniel Falale, a projected second-round pick in this year's draft, all game long. Take this rep for example. When the ball is snapped, Falale gets his hands up quickly and latches onto Smith's shoulder pads to take control of him. Smith tries to get through by just flailing his arms erratically, just hoping to get through, but it does not work at all. He has zero pass rush plan and has no anchor whatsoever, and all Falale really has to do is swipe Smith's hands away, and he sends Smith to the ground and is rendered ineffective. But just a few weeks later, you started to see Smith evolve and understand how to win with his skill set. Against Penn State's Rasheed Walker, a mammoth left tackle who, like Falale, is projected to go in the second round in April, Smith had a dominant performance. On this play, Walker gets his hands up to try to use his size and strength to overwhelm Smith, a smaller edge rusher, similar to what Falale's technique was on the previous play. However, this time around, Tyreek Smith wins. He chops Walker's outside hand away, gets skinny to keep his chest clean before showing off his arc quickness and bending ability to get the strip sack. Later in the game, Smith executes a beautiful spin move counter to beat Walker once again. He bursts off the line of scrimmage and uses that same outside arm chop he used before when Walker extends his arms. Knowing that Walker will panic and try to seal off the edge since he got beat with speed before, Smith spins right past him and pressures the quarterback into throwing an interception. One of the main reasons Smith is only a projected fourth-round pick is because people watch his tape and see another toolsy, developmental edge rusher who's without a natural feel for rushing the passer. But in my opinion, that's really underselling him. You see him game to game, improving and gaining a better understanding of leverage and how to beat offensive linemen in real time. He's a smart player on and off the field. He had a 4.0 GPA in high school and was a two-time Big Ten academic honoree. If you put Smith in a room with NFL coaches and Myles Garrett, I think he could end up as a very good player. The last edge rusher I want to cover is another lesser-known prospect from Penn State, Jesse Luketa. Lucetta is basically a ball of lightning on the football field. While he didn't blow up the combine and he has below our average arm length, he's high effort, aggressive, and twitchy. He's excellent at working through blocks and making plays in the run game, and actually is fairly disciplined as a run defender, but undisciplined enough where his instincts can shine and take over, if that makes sense. His stocky frame and low center of gravity makes him really hard to move in the run game. Even though guys are bigger than him, his lower body strength enables him to win on a consistent basis. As a pass rusher, Lucetta has a pretty underdeveloped arsenal of moves, and I'm not sure how much three-down potential he has in the NFL, but I think he could contribute right away as a run defender. He's really explosive and physical and will wear down tackles as the game goes on. Overall, he's not a complete edge rusher, but he's more than worthy of a mid-round selection where he can rely on his relentless motor and fierce play style to play on first and second down, where he can learn on the job as a pass rusher. As a rookie, I think you could put him on special teams and, like I said, put him in the rotation on early downs because he's just so violent and explosive, and it's a traits that you don't see very often, especially in a very technically sound, finesse-y type of edge class that we have this year. I think he's a very intriguing prospect who offers unique value as a powerful edge rusher. While the Browns don't have a first-round pick this year, they've got a number of Day 2 and Day 3 selections that they can use to add complementary pieces to an already pretty loaded roster. General managers and personnel executives always say that you can never have enough pass rushers, and in the modern day NFL with the quarterbacks in the AFC today, you need guys that can be disruptive and put QBs on the ground.